So last night, the Fever got another big win, defeated the Las Vegas Aces for the first time since 2019. And the only player to show up, the only players to show up for the Las Vegas Aces was A'ja Wilson.
The WNBA is experiencing issues. Despite the fact that the Fever recently defeated the defending champions, nobody is talking about the game. Why? Supporters are making fun of A'ja Wilson because of what they call the special whistle. Are the games of its stars being manipulated by the league?
Now, ain't she over her back, bro? Ain't her arm clearly over her back? Clearly, bro. Clearly.
It looks like over the
wow.
back. Oh, boy. Jump ball is the call.
At what point?
Wow. Stephanie White's upset about that. Wow.
Look at this. Look at this. Would you look at this?
That's a jump ball.
Now, I believe this might be the call that Stephanie White got that technical on.
The only player that I could see that's truly got a special whistle is A'ja Wilson. My God.
Last night should have been a party. The Indiana Fever defeated the Las Vegas Aces for the first game since 2019. It has been a long time coming. Caitlin Clark is not on the floor. Nevertheless, the squad won after a fierce battle. Isn't it a momentous occasion? But let's be honest, nobody is talking about the game at the moment. Rather, the focus is on A'ja Wilson and the free throw parade she was able to ride all night. She finished with 29 points. Powerful stat line. Indeed. But here's the crazy thing. 13 of the points came from free throws. Only 2 visits were made to the line by Aaliyah Boston, who was battling with A'ja in the trenches. Think about that for a second. A'ja got 13 shots from the stripe. Aaliyah 2. Now, how is it even logical, I must ask? Are we all watching the same game, or did the refs select who they wanted to see shine before tip-off? Is this a basketball court or a theater? The phrase, special whistle, is probably familiar to you. It used to be a popular joke that ridiculed the reality that some celebrities get more calls than others. But yesterday night, that wasn't a joke. It was clear. Fans are not just incensed, but they are also presenting receipts. Twitter was filled with videos, memes, and explanations of every questionable foul that gave AJ a free pass to the line. There is even a fan-made design that replaces her initials with a referee's whistle. The strangest part is that it's starting to feel like usual, as though we expect her to make 10 or more free throws every game. As though we've just accepted the reality that A'ja is always given the benefit of the doubt. As I watched, I couldn't help but wonder, if this were the NBA and a player was getting this kind of treatment every night, wouldn't we be calling for an investigation? Is the league nurturing its star, or is it being unduly protective of her? What about the other athletes who must work twice as hard to get a single call? Let's just call it that. The Las Vegas Aces did not show up last night. With the exception of A'ja Wilson, that team seemed completely out of sync. Kelsey Plum was nowhere to be seen. Jackie Young cold. That squad seemed to be playing on empty and had forgotten the game was scheduled. Nevertheless, A'ja finishes with 29 points, making it seem like another MVP performance. Because her pipeline goes straight to the free throw line, how? Together, her teammates took fewer than 10 foul shots. That gives you all the details you need. It wasn't supremacy, it was favoritism. The crazy portion follows. When you watch that game as a young hooper, what do you learn? After all that work in the paint, you don't get compensated. But a little flailing on the right team leads to a trip to the line. What message does the league want to get across with that? Let's turn our attention immediately to the person who should be in control. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Angelbert. I don't know if she watched the game last night, or if she's too busy planning another PR tour, but her silence says more than anything else. Officiating has already been questioned. Not even the 6th has arrived yet. But time and again, Angelbert steps up to the microphone, beams widely, and says the officiating is flawless. Okay, referees are permitted to ignore obvious cheating by some players while often missing calls and awarding free points to others. Where's the accountability? The league wants to get bigger. It wants to be considered comparable to the NBA. But if the person in control disputes what players and onlookers are seeing with their own eyes, how can it get to that stage? You would assume that Adam Silver would not mind his referees acting in such a manner. Kathy, we're waiting. This is an awkward question that no one in the league office wants to hear. What if the referees are influencing the betting lines? I did say that, yes. Look, sports betting makes up a large part of the current game. Fans are placing bets on everything from assists to rebounds to the number of points scored. Yes, including how many points A.A. Wilson or another player will score in a game. You have to wonder if those calls were the consequence of bad judgment or something else when she unexpectedly earns 13 free throws on a night when her team is playing poorly. Do referees put bets or give people tips? I know it seems strange, but you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to ask these questions. One of them was Tim Donaghy. This is not the first time the NBA has faced this challenge. For what reason do we think the WNBA is an exception? If this is not looked into right now, the league's whole integrity could be in jeopardy. Aaliyah, the only player who should be furious over what transpired last night, is Boston. She fought for every inch down there. As she played, she had heart. She touched throughout the game. What was given to her? Making 2 trips to the queue. 2! In contrast, A is barely affected. She's stomping to the stripe at the scorer's table like she's holding a punch card. Let's be truthful. Aaliyah Boston is one of the best bigs in the league. She is leading a young team and recording statistics, even if the referees aren't giving her anything. Why isn't she brought up in the MVP conversation, considering the skewed data? If Boston got the same warning as AJ, we'd be talking about a different part of the league right now. This is about more than just calls, it's about respect. Additionally, the league isn't currently providing her with any. So, who will speak up for Aaliyah? As much as I hate to admit it, last night felt like a rehearsed scene. People are having fun with it. The teams continue to fight despite the constant whistles, yet for some reason nothing changes. It destroys the momentum. It ruins the environment and the trust. Basketball is a rhythmic sport that involves back and forth and flow. But when referees step in too often, especially for straightforward rulings with a single star preference, it starts to sound phony. The worst way to characterize any league is as fake. The WNBA is currently having trouble defining itself. It seeks to communicate to its followers that it is honest, competitive, and uncompromising. However, if people start to believe that the outcome is fixed before tip-off, the battle might be lost. You can't fool the supporters anymore. They are doing more than just watching games by analyzing foul counts and free throw irregularities, trading pictures, and slowing down replays. Last night, they too made their voices known clearly. A'ja Wilson is the MVP, or most valuable protected. Boston has lost. The referees say, go ahead. When Wilson gets wind across her jersey, it's obvious. This isn't a lighthearted joke. Something is moving. Advocates are demanding transparency, accountability, and fair play. If the WNBA doesn't listen, they'll leave too. I hope you are successful in building a brand without your most loyal followers. Let's make a few clarifications before the comments spiral out of control. This isn't about making fun of A'ja Wilson. Her talent as a musician is undeniable. In fact, she's one of the most gifted athletes in the WNBA. Her footwork, defensive instincts, and leadership are all sincere. She won MVP twice for a reason, and it's no coincidence. By working hard and putting in the hours, she has gained a lot of respect. But here's the problem. When it seems like the league is manipulating her stats, when she gets more calls in one game than most players do in a week, and when the referee completely ignores other athletes who are just as skilled and physically fit. But that isn't excellence. That is what is known as favoritism. This is not meant to be a slight on AJ. The league is to be elevated. After all, real fans want fairness. All athletes should have an equal chance to achieve, regardless of their level of experience. We want games to be decided by who did the best, not who got the most calls. We want Aaliyah Boston to receive the same treatment as AA in the paint. We want balance, not prejudice. Rather than a referee officiating a game with a fixed outcome, we want to believe that the basketball we're watching is authentic, competitive, and real. So here we are. Rather than celebrating the historic win of the Indiana Fever, we are confined to talking about officiating, favoritism, and conspiracies. It doesn't appear to be good. If the WNBA wants to maintain its reputation, it must also act swiftly to enhance officiating, hold officials responsible, treat every player equally, and stop giving out MVP awards at the free throw line for the sake of the game. This league has the talent. It attracts fans. It is in the spotlight, but if it keeps using the distinctive whistle to describe games, it will lose that attention. Kindly leave a comment with your ideas. Was Aya Wilson's whistle fixed last night? Is Kathy Angelbird ignoring the problem? In this instance, is Aaliyah Boston the real MVP? Click subscribe, like, and keep an eye out for